All right, class, this is our starting of our notes. Every day you want to have this math notebook. You can use it on your assessments, on assignments during class, but we're going to start off our notes for our geometry course. So open up your notebook. I'm going to turn to the first page. If you would like to leave the first page blank for any particular reason, you are more than welcome. This is your notebook. Organize it the way you feel like doing it. So I'm going to just start on the first page and I'm going to put a title. This is our unit 1 we're starting with, and the topic is transformations. All right, and we have 4 different types of transformations that we'll discuss this unit. So 4 types. So the best way to take your notes is as I write, you write as well. Then you won't fall behind or have to go rewatch this video. All right, so the first thing that we're going to discuss is some vocabulary. There's some important vocabulary that we'll use for the duration of this unit that you want to be aware of. And the first word that we've been discussing, you've heard it before, is pre-image. Pre-image is where you start. This is our figure before the transformation. That's pre-image. Our next word is our image. And this is where you end up after the transformation. So this is our figure after the transformation. The next word is prime. Think of when we said A prime, C prime, X prime. We are representing the notation after the transformation. So that would be an example. A prime, C prime, X prime. Now our apostrophe here that represents the prime. Another word that we have not mentioned but is really important is isometric. The word isometric. Another word for isometric is rigid. Now, what in the world is isometric and rigid? All this means is that after a transformation, the shapes are the same size and the same shape. They are congruent. So thinking about our transformation that we've been working on, we've been moving some shapes around, but they end up with the same exact shape. The shape doesn't change. We just moved it on our coordinate plane. So that brings me to the first type of our transformation. Type number 1. And that is translation. Translation, we like to think of the word slide. We can go left, we can go right, up, or down. Translation does not change the size or the shape, it just moves the figure. So, let's write our definition of translation. A transformation that moves each point of a figure the same distance and in the same direction. So if I were looking at a coordinate grid, we got positive 1, positive 2, positive 1, positive 2, negative 1, negative 2, negative 1, negative 2. And we know that these numbers can be a whole lot bigger on our coordinate grid. It's just what we're working with here. So if I were to go up, I'm impacting my y-axis, so I'm going to add to y. If I move to the right, I'm going in the positive direction of my x-axis, so I'm going to add to x. If I am going down, I'm going to subtract from y, because I'm impacting my y-axis. And if I'm going to the left, I'm going in the negative direction of my x-axis, so I'm going to subtract from x. All right. Some words to remember: up, down, left, or right. Remembering what operation you're going to use. Now let's just go ahead and add one example into our notebook that we can always continue to reference if we need it. In that example, says we need to translate the pre-image by, this is coordinate notation, x minus 8, y plus 2. This right here is our coordinate notation. We can also write this in words, and it would say translate to the left 8 and up 2. We know minus means we're going to the left, adding, we're going up on our y-axis. So this is it in words. So let's translate these 3 points. negative 2, 4, 0, negative 8, and negative 3, 5. So, if you need this additional step that I'm about to show you, you need to start writing it. This will help you not make any errors. So let's say I have the point negative 2, 4. I'm going to plug my x and my y value into my coordinate notation. So I have negative 2 for x, minus 8, and then y is 4, 4 plus 2. I'm just substituting in the x and the y. So that will become c prime, negative 2 minus 8. We got two negatives, so we're going to put them together. 8 plus 2 is 10. They're both negative, so we keep the negative. And then 4 plus 2 is 6. So our new point is negative 10, 6. Now for the other one, if you don't need to do this step, you can just go ahead and write it. A prime, 0 minus 8 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. And then t prime, negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. And 5 plus 2 is 7. We have our example. So make sure you get this stuff down. Hopefully you took some good notes so that you can have some good stuff to reference.